average dude has something to say about...
Everybody, welcome back. In the previous video, and you can watch it, I'll have the link down below, I discussed the big elephant in the room. Anybody that's ever watched my videos knows that I'm not a fan of the let's pretend that it doesn't exist or that this doesn't happen. So I don't like that. I tend to pull the curtain away and show, yes, this goes on, this happens. Because there are certain things that we have a complete inability of being able to accept or face. And in the Western world, I can tell you right now, having gone through this for over, because I'm in my 40s and this has been my entire life, we don't seem to believe that females can abuse anybody. It's always the males. We have to educate the males, and you'll see I'm going to post the links again, that's always the approach that we hear when it comes to the violence against women. Yeah, because violence never happens against males, men or boys, but you know what? Women are violent too. They're abusive. They are verbally, emotionally, they're manipulative, they are physically and sexually abusive to not just males, grown men and boys and boy children, but also other females. You have elder abuse, so you have middle-aged females, daughters likely, that take advantage of, and they abuse their elderly mothers. You've got mothers that abuse their daughters. Hell, you have girl children that abuse other girls on the playground. Every single woman, every single girl, we all know this. Out on the playground, there are some girls that are really nice, and then there are those really nasty ones. You can't blame men for that. The nasty girl, the nastiest, the alpha female on the playground growing up in grade school where I went to, she lived right across the street from me. What an irony, considering that I was physically and beaten by my mom, and my dad was the parent that did nothing, that went down the basement to ignore it. As insult to injury, the alpha female in my grade school was across the street, and she had these amazing parents. Her dad was so unbelievably gentle, it's not even funny, and so was her mom. So there are simply mean, bad females that have absolutely no excuse whatsoever, can't say, oh, because of you, because abusers always have, male or female, they have a sob story of their own. And it's crap, because it's not okay. Even if it did happen to them, it's not okay to victimize someone else. So, I'm so tired of these situations where domestic violence, we have to educate the males. You can take all the males off of this planet and leave only females, and guess what you're going to have? You're going to have females do really bad, horrible things to other females, because we're human, and that's what we have in common. Yeah, that is true equality. But that's the part that we don't like about equality. We want the goodies without the nasty stuff that goes with it. All right, let's go over some of these articles. Quote, part of the reason that this problem is widely ignored lies in the notion that battered males are weak or unmanly. No. And as I said in the previous video and in this one too, it's not necessarily female versus male. Okay? There are females that abuse other females, and then when the victim female asks for help, a stupid excuse is given, or a slap on the wrist to the abuser at the most. So many females suffer in silence because of other females. Okay? This has nothing to do with manliness or being weak, or we don't want to appear weak. I'm too old to give a crap about that nonsense personally. It has everything to do with the victim being taken seriously and actually receiving help. See, victims, when they ask for help, They put themselves at risk. Because what happens is you ask for help and you don't get it, they disregard it, and then the abuser always manages to hear about it. Heard what you said about me. I'll teach you to cause me any trouble. Whack, 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 whack. If you ever ask for help again, and I'll whack, 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 whack. Okay, victims, and I keep hearing this stupid question from people, and it's doggone it. Why do victims stay in those situations? Why don't they speak up? Are you kidding me? Yes, they do. They speak up. The problem is society does not respect the victim, does not acknowledge that what is happening to them is actually real, doesn't actually try to help, and instead hands them right back into the hands of the abuser. Male, female, it doesn't matter, and it's ridiculous. Victims are trying to survive. Children, boy, girl, adult male, adult female, they're trying to survive, and they take risks by talking. And yes, they do talk, but after a while they stop talking. I asked my grandparents, my aunts and uncles, no help, got worse, beep, 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 heard what you said, beep, beep, beep. I asked church, hell, I asked school, and while they were nicer about it, all I got was a guidance counselor at school, because the problem must be the victim, right? Can't possibly be the abuser, especially if that abuser is a woman. That can't possibly be the case. So what do you think? Why do you think that victims don't come forward? Even when they do, they're not taken seriously, especially when they are saying that a female is abusing them, including other females. So it's not just a female versus male thing. This is so bad for society. Quote, the next step is to admit that domestic violence is not a male or female problem, but rather a human problem, and that a lasting solution must address the cruelty and suffering of both sexes. Yeah, absolutely. And you'll love that only one article bothered to go even farther, because you're going to love this. One article was discussing, hey, we looked into this situation and we found that the people that were abused by women, they suffered, by females, male or female, doesn't matter, they suffered many of the same, quote, suffered many of the same after effects as those who have been abused by men. Imagine that. Really? A victim of abuse suffers side effects? Really? Whether it's a male or a female abusing them. Imagine that. Quote, they also had a nearly universal wish to tell society that this really happens. No kidding. I'm in my 40s. I kept this a secret for so long. For years. I kept a lid on it because I was supposed to protect them. I was supposed to think about the family. Don't talk about don't air the family's dirty little secret. Think about the family, not yourself. That is horrible to a victim, male or female. It's ridiculous. And I have, if you've noticed in these videos, I'm talking about it. To hell with what people think. Whether they think I'm unmanly or not. They can go whatever. Quote, stereotyping women as nurturing and men as dangerous isn't just bad for men. Every dad on the playground becomes a potential rapist. Yeah, no kidding. And women, every mom is expected to be an angel. Yeah, no kidding. But for children too. Continue. We need to be able to recognize when they are at risk from the women in their lives and protect them from abuse even when it comes from unexpected places. Yes. And I am wondering whether my previous video or this video will be removed, because there seems to be a lot of talk on the internet. I don't know whether it's true or not. I'm about to find out. That social media sites tend to remove content that talks about females committing abuse. And if that's true, that is completely unacceptable, and I will repeatedly throw that content. I don't care where I need to. Those days of keeping quiet on that one are done for me. Yeah, unexpected places. Females can be bad too. You don't ignore half of the population. Quote, "We need to be aware of violence by women as well. Assuming every woman is a saint does no one any favors." Exactly. And that's the point of my last video and this one. With all the discussions, especially with the pro football and the abuse and all that nonsense, a part of the Ray Rice story that people don't want to, they want to talk about we'll sweep it under the rug, stop bothering my family because of the money involved. And that poor little girl, I mean, she's being taught that lesson. She's being taught that it's okay for daddy to knock mommy out. That's clearly not okay. But Mrs. Rice was repeatedly hitting him. That's not okay. She wasn't stopping. The only thing that stopped her was him knocking her out. What kind of message is that? I said this in the last video. That poor little girl, they have a child. It tells her that it's okay for mommy to repeatedly hit daddy. It's okay for daddy to knock mommy out. And it's okay to sweep it under the rug because of all the money for the job. The last two get talked about. But society has a problem discussing the fact that Mrs. Rice was abusive too. That poor girl. Everybody, take care.